Hello, Anderson County. This is Councilman Brett Sanders recapping June the 21st, 2022's council meeting. Basically, tonight we had a couple ordinances to transfer a piece of property that was in the Star Iva area that we had cleaned up with some grant money, and the town of Iva has someone interested in developing the property for some residential use, so we donated that property tonight to give to them, and that way they'll build on it and it'll go back on the tax books. Also granted an easement to Duke Energy on a piece of property in Belton to do an electric car charging station. And I think Councilman Graham said tonight, people that have electric cars, it shows where the charging stations are. So hopefully it'll bring a little more foot traffic and business traffic down into the town of Belton.
It's right between the library and the museum, so it's a good location.
Yeah, good location. So we also had two ordinances tonight. One was to prohibit certain motor vehicle on Massey Road, which was in my district, and there was the same for Longview Road in Miss Cindy Wilson's district, District 7. And that little two-lane, windy roads that what was happening, the GPS units and things were sending some heavy trucks and equipment down those roads. We got those prohibited, or on the council to voted to prohibit that type traffic, and it also our Roads and Bridges Department will reach out so that your GPS and your little TomTom and your Waze and your certain apps, it won't show those roads for those guys. And I wanted to make sure that was clear so someone didn't actually get sent down that way and get a ticket. So hopefully that'll be updated and everyone will see less heavy equipment on those two roads. There was also an ordinance that we had voted on previously on the time frame that project that is turned down at the Planning Commission can come back to Planning Commission. I don't think there was a time frame before. We had voted, it's already on our ordinances, but we voted a 6 month, and we've got to be, now we realize that if we do a 90-day or 3-month deal, it coincides with the Planning Commission meetings, and I think it'll expedite things and make things a little easier on the Planning Commission, plus shorten time frame for someone to get a project revamped or make changes that they need to make. We also tonight had second reading on the budget that was approved, and it came, we had a Finance Committee meeting, and we had some things on the Finance Committee that we discussed and went over. One was to do some paving out at Kid Venture, some sidewalks, things of that nature. We'd actually had a PARD grant, Parks and Recreation grant, that we received, and the county put in another $50,000 to match, or actually it was a $90-something thousand total project, and that will be underway now. So that'll be a good thing. Hopefully it'll be open real soon for the summertime, splash park, things of that nature out there. We also voted for a bid on some sewer at Exit 14, and I said it in the county in our council meeting tonight. I'm excited to see that the American Rescue Plan Act, some of the funds that Anderson County received, instead of just spending those funds on certain things, that we actually decided to spend them on or invest those funds. And we've invested it in infrastructure and sewer, which we will see the returns on for years and years to come. I may not even be here, and we'll still be seeing those returns. So I'm glad we have a current council with that mindset on saving money, investing money. And there was also another investment with those same funds. We also have plans to replace a pump station that has been in service since the 1980s. So I have to give Derek Singleton and the sewer department a round of applause for maintaining and keeping that thing going well beyond its expected life. And we also had a voted to do a new chiller at the Civic Center, and the one now is 31 years old. And if anyone's ever been out to the Civic Center lately, it's either the air conditioning is high and it's freezing cold in there, or it's hot. There's no in between. And that chiller will actually be take the place of two. So, and that bid was going to a local company. The sewer on exit 14 was going to a local company. The money being spent out at Kid Venture is going to a local company. I like seeing that as well. We're making investments in our future, and we're spending money and making those investments with local builders and contractors. So that's exciting to see as well. And also tonight from the Finance Committee, that was some of the things we had worked on as well. We also had a second reading on the budget. We had a budget workshop June the 20th, so that was yesterday. And what we decided, we've been working on the budget and going through certain things, and really the departments send their budget request in, and going through all the departments' budget requests, you get to looking, and there was really not any real increases. The increases that I saw in the budget was inflation, fuel prices, materials, supplies, and also the county's required to have a 2-month reserve. So, the higher your overall budget is, the higher or the more money you're going to have in that 2 months reserve. So that was one thing that I had noticed in the budget. We also made sure that we had all the personnel that our sheriff's department had requested, so they'll have all the personnel staff that they requested. We also ranked some capital projects, and that a lot of budgeted money goes to capital projects. All the roofs on buildings, there's a lot of things. So we sit down and actually ranked the capital projects and approved the ones that are in dire need. And next year, you can't just keep putting things off, but I think our 2024 budget is going to be a lot tougher. And we're also in the Finance Committee sat down and we're talking and discussing ways on how to go ahead and plan, if our economy continues in the direction that it's going now, to plan for a decreased revenue source for the 2024 budget. And we're just now getting the 2023 budget. So we're thinking and planning ahead. It's not just sit down and do the budget in 30 minutes. It's a thought process with several committee members, our finance department. We also had no tax increase. That was the major thing, and that's what we had worked hard on. With fuel prices and things that I mentioned earlier, that's making your home budget and the county's budget, higher. That was one thing that our county council wanted to make sure that we can come in and budget without raising and putting a further burden on the taxpayers and the people of Anderson County. We're also applying any. We're expecting, or we're told, whether you get certain promises, certain things coming in that hasn't matured yet, but increase in money from the state, federal government on C-Fund money, which is money for paving, and hopefully that money will be increased, and every bit of that money that's coming in will go towards paving and doing some more road and bridge repair. And as a county, we've continued to pay off debt, and we're also sat down and worked on. We have an issue with our jail, and what people, a lot of people don't realize is the state will come in, or the federal government will come in and say, hey, guess what? Your jail is overcrowded, over capacity, not meeting our standards. I've taken a tour out there more than one time. I'm sure you have as well. It's horrendous. And what we don't want is the state to come in, or the federal government to come in and say, hey, we're just going to build what we want, and here's your bill. So we sat down, we have a plan in place. that we will be rolling out soon, but we have it, and we have positioned ourselves to where we can build that jail without raising taxes, and that's going to be a feat within itself. But I think we figured out a plan to do it with some debt that we paid off and paying off early. Government's just like a household. I mean, you've got money coming in, and what you have coming in, that's all you have. So I mean, you've got to plan it wisely, and I think we've done that in the finance department. I think our finance department staff, I mean, there is a lot of work that goes into it, and you hear accolades on what the finance committee's done on the budget, but man, you couldn't do anything without our finance department staff. Yeah. They provide you with all the tools, information necessary, and I mean, it's one small change over here changes everything. So I mean, they do a tremendous job, and they make you look good. Or they've made me look good, and our finance committee look good, and that's all on them. And I appreciate all the hard work and effort they put in. I appreciate their patience with me and our committee, and I just hope that the citizens of Anderson will appreciate the work and efforts that we've done. And like I said, the great thing about it is no tax increase. So that's it.